I used to go camping with my dad when I was a little kid. There's a place near International Falls, Minnesota, called Carlton. This was a facility at one point in time where sand was harvested for making quicksand. Diamondated it right out of the side of the mountain. From the campsite that my dad and I stayed at on top of the mountain, there is visible a car that's turned over at the base of the mountain. It's completely stripped to nothing from years of having been sitting on its hood 40 feet below the first parapet. There's also some wrecked farm equipment completely rusted beyond belief, only a little bit deeper into the trees from the base. My dad told me that around 80 years ago, there wasn't a forest at the base of Mount Carlton. There was a farmyard. It was owned by a woman named Hana and her husband. Hana and her husband were farmers. They had a wheat and corn farm. There was a summer wherein Hannah's husband was working on repairing the grain thresher when he had an accident. He fell over the side of the machine, got shredded to pieces. Hana came out to find his wedding ring and a pile of bones stuck inside of the thrasher. Hana abandoned her farm after that. Smashed the machines to pieces, set fire to the farmyard. Years passed and the National Park Service took over, started planting the forest that now goes from Mount Carlton over International Falls and into Canada. There was a dispute there with the mining company that wanted to buy the mountain, and for the most part that dispute is still going on today. About a year after the National Park Service took over for Hana and started planting the forest, there were a handful of disappearances around the area. A few of the lost people had been found, and the local law says that it was an animal attack. This kept on pretty dependably, where at the beginning of October of every year, 3, 5, maybe 10 people disappeared from the park near Mount Carlton. One year, around that time, a person turned up who had been missing. This person, when was brought to the police station, was near catatonic and continually was repeating the words, "Big woman, big knife." Again, another year or two later, another person was found, hiding inside of a tree covered in cuts and bruises. They said again, "Big woman, big knife." It has been 80 years since Hana sold the farm, but her name is still repeated by a number of the campers who hang out in that national park. People remember her. People believe that Hana is still there. Big woman, big knife. When I was there with my dad, and he told me this story, we saw a number of strange things in the forest. The sky turned black by flies, cracking of wood all around us, but no animals. Big woman, big knife. My dad believed that Hana was still there, driven mad by the death of her husband, blessed by whatever Dakota tribe was in that area before the farms, before the National Park Service. He believed that Hana wanted to be remembered. So, Hana started leaving people behind on her anniversary day. Big woman, big knife. My dad reaches across the fire towards me. He says that when he was there with his brother 10 years ago, he had seen her. But she left him alone. Maybe it was because he wasn't there in October. He doesn't really know. But if you do happen to be in Canada, National Falls area, Mount Carlton, be on the lookout for a big woman with a big knife.